to another episode of the Sales Manager Academy podcast. As always, I'm your host, Omar, and we talk about leadership in small retail spaces, right? We're talking about boutique locations, we're talking about your wireless retail locations, retailers, dealers, right? Authorized locations. We're talking about AV, we're talking about appliances, we're talking about everything outside of like big box retail. If you're wondering what I'm doing, we're setting up a 15-minute timer because we're keeping these conversations, these talking points down to what I preach and talk about, right? That 15-minute framework. And today, as a leader, one of the things we're already in fourth quarter, right? We're in dead heat last month of the year, month of December. And what I want to talk to you about is motivation as a trap for leaders, because I get it. Some of you guys are thinking right now, you know what? It's a slow start. We just came off of, Black Friday weekend. It should be picking up. It's been slow. I'm barely seeing foot traffic, whatever the case is. And if you try to motivate right now, if you're trying to be motivational, if you're trying to be inspiring, I want to tell you that that is a trap that a lot of people fall into because it's an easier way to get demotivated to what you're doing, right? You're wondering, well, how can I get my team to perform? How can I get my groups to actually get up and get after it? I mean, motivation is not the answer, right? If you're thinking about like an 80-20 rule, motivation is not that small percent that's going to make you that 80%, right? It's not going to be that small 20%. The actions that need to be taken are what's going to produce 80% of the results, right? So don't focus on the motivation factor. Instead, don't let the feeling of a slow start, don't let the feeling of, you know, I'm down, I'm just not feeling the vibe get to you. That is where you want to get your head out of. And motivation is not going to be what is going to get you out of it, right? Sigler famously said motivation is like a shower. It only works if you do it daily, right? And most people don't do that consistently for it to really be a factor in making anything change. You think I'm just going to do it because the numbers are down or my people aren't closing, and that's not how you're going to get them to perform. Instead, you need to focus more on taking action. You need to perform. You need to create some kind of action, some kind of traction that is going to be producing something more than trying to motivate your people to, light the fire, find what's going to get you going. That's not the case. Okay. You want to focus on other things. Get back to basics. Get back to things that matter. This is a perfect time. If you are saying it is truly slow, there are things that can be done that's going to help you actually improve. And you don't need a lot of action to be able to create that momentum. And that's what I want you to focus on. Not necessarily taking a shit ton of action. I want you to stay focused on the action that you as a leader need to take. And what does that mean? Simple things. Do callbacks. You have some type of CRM system. If you don't, it is never too late to start. The best time to start was yesterday, right? Last year, 10 years ago. It doesn't fucking matter. If you this is where you're at and you don't have some time of CRM, you need to start now. You need to start keeping track of the people that you're sending quotes to, the people that came into your location. Hell, customers that you've dealt with that had a great, especially if they had a great experience with you, with your team, with the delivery, installation, whatever the case is, okay? Touch base with them, see how things are going, right? Maybe life has changed. Maybe they've moved. Maybe, they need new devices. Maybe they need new appliances. Maybe whatever the case is, touching base, following up with them, right? Doing those callbacks during the supposed slow times does create that momentum because you're creating that customer that's going to walk in, that client that's going to walk in, that opportunity that would not have come in because you're not in their, line of sight. You're not top of mind for them, okay? And it's going to create that. It's going to bring them in for you, okay? And then your team is going to see that, hey, I'm creating some kind of momentum. I'm creating some kind of action. Some of the people I talked to answer their phone and they're like, hey, thanks for calling. I was actually thinking about this and didn't know where to go. Or, you know what? Great. I actually do have some questions. When can I come in? When are you going to be there? They start making those appointments. They start seeing that flow come in. And they don't need a lot. I don't think you guys realize that. Your team doesn't need to see hundreds of people from those callbacks. They just need a small trickle that comes in because that one, two, three opportunities that came in because of those callbacks are going to be more primed. They're going to be golden opportunities because they're actually coming in for something other than looky loos. They're coming in and they're gonna be somebody who's already done business with you, somebody who already was interested in doing business with you. And that's the important thing that I want you to focus on. That is what's going to help you create that action. So that's one of those things. Callbacks. Don't let those opportunities go missed. And the reason you need a CRM is you want to be able to have them in some kind of loop, right? Some kind of system that's going to follow up with them on your behalf, because there are going to be promotions that are going to come out. There's going to be the holiday season, stuff like that. And it's not to say that every single time that you run a campaign, something's going to happen with those customers, but that opportunity is going to be there where you now become top of mind because you know what? I did see that message. Let me go and check them out. Let me go see what they're, what they have right now. I do need this. I do need that. Whatever the case is. And that's super important. But that keeps your team also focused on sales. It keeps their mindset away from being motivated, and now they're taking action and they're seeing results from their actions, and now they're motivated to do more of that. So during downtime, they are now actively calling, they are now actively touching base with these people, and that's creating that customer clientele that's coming back. And you'd be surprised how great they're going to be at that. They're going to suck at the beginning, okay? But little by little. And you have to be the one that showcases this if you haven't already. Make a couple of calls on their behalf, right? To people on their client list, to people on their callback list, and showcase, hey, this is what I expect. This is how we should do it. Boom. Give them a quick, simple script. Don't make it elaborate, okay? You got to let the people have their personality. You got to let them shine a bit. Give them a framework to be able to adjust and be robust enough for them to be able to work. And that's one of the things. The second, get back to basics. Go fucking door knocking, guys. Okay? If you have something that is B2C, B2B, go hit up some doors. Okay? You would be surprised how often this can be a freaking gold mine. Go to apartment complexes, talk to the leasing managers, right? The leasing offices. See, like, hey, this is what we do. Just want to introduce ourselves. We're over here. If you have, any questions, or if you have new people coming in, hey, we can help them with this, this, and this. We would love to be part of your welcome packet, right? That's an option. Go to other locations. Go to HOAs. Talk to their offices. Talk to the communities, right? Be like, hey, this is what we do. Look for things that you can do, and you don't have to just go to like consumer locations. Think about businesses as well. Think about your local chamber of commerce. You have BNI groups. Those are a little bit more exclusive, but you're going to start seeing that. Look up at Meetup. You would be surprised how many events happen there where you can go and essentially door knock and meet other people. You would be surprised how simple introductions like that are going to go a long way. Okay. And that's what starts setting up things differently for you and your team. Because if you're an area manager, if you're a district manager, if you're a leader, it doesn't matter. You go to these events, you introduce yourself, you start meeting other people, you start making connections. And now you're their go-to, you're their connection, you're their hookup. Hey, you know what? I got a guy that can do this. I got a gal that can do that. I know somebody who does this. I know somebody in this space. Okay? You're now a resource and part of a network. And you're not going to, and guys, please understand, showing up once to one of these things doesn't mean that now you've built that connection and though they're going to default to you. You got to build a relationship, and building a relationship is going in and actually providing value. Don't take away and like, this is what I can do for you. Give me, right? Meet people, introduce people to each other. Let other people know that, hey, I can help you network, and I will also help you with what your goal is. And you know what? I got clients, I got customers that, I got a couple people on top of my head. Let me introduce you, right? Because you would be surprised. I run into that a lot. Just the other day, I had somebody I was talking to. They're remodeling their home. Guess what? I got connections in the appliance world. I got connections in the AV world. Let me introduce you to some people because they're in the process of remodeling, but they haven't bought any of the equipment that they need for the end of the remodel, right? Their appliances and stuff like that. And we were just chit-chatting, and it's like, boom. That is how you become a solution and network to others. Oftentimes, you'd be surprised how, people that you just happen to network with will end up also being somebody you do business with, or introduce somebody close to you to them where they end up doing business, and they're going to be very grateful because now that's somebody that they've been introduced to that they wouldn't have otherwise without you in the picture. So it starts becoming very, uh, a two-way symmetrical system relationship where you're providing value, they're providing value, and like, hey, this is my person for this, this is my person for that. Boom. Now you're building those relationships, you're building those connections. And why? Because you knocked on a couple of doors. You would be surprised. Okay. If you're near a lot of businesses, hey, just go and you would be surprised. Like, hey, is it okay if we can, set up a quick, and this leads me to the next one, right? If we can set up a quick table for your employees just to let them know some of the stuff that we can provide, help them with, right? Your company gets a discount with us, especially if you're in like the wireless world. This is a huge one. Okay. That's a simple thing, right? You can go door knocking for that. If they're in apartments, the leasing office, right? Especially if, for instance, you do furniture. Yeah, some of these people moving in might need new furniture or they might not have actual good quality furniture or furniture that they can use. So you would be a little bit of a godsend to them. Okay. And that goes to the other one, which is doing events. And I'm not talking about setting up, events at, a big old business group meeting or things like that where you have to get a booth or stuff like that. I'm talking about doing something small, something local. Once again, think leasing offices, think small businesses where you can go and, in the break room, hey, this is what we can do in the wireless world. This is what I was talking about. You can offer them the discounts that they get through their employers. Okay. Yeah, if you sign up or you haven't signed up with us, this is what we can do. Or, hey, you're a customer of ours. Do you have your discount from work? Boom. And you'd be surprised, like, hey, well, yeah, but you know what? I have an old phone. I need to upgrade. Or, you know what? I'm thinking about getting a phone for my kids, or I'm thinking about adding a tablet for the holidays. Little things like that are what's going to go and make a difference. The other part, too, if you have newer locations and you start doing things like that, you start introducing people to your damn location. People that are close that are actually in the area, okay? They can now know, oh, they're there. I didn't know that before. You can have a new location that's 2 years old and people still walk in. Oh, I didn't know this location was here. How long has it been here? Oh, 2 years? Damn, where have I been? I've been going to the other one that's 10 miles further down the road. Okay. Simple things like that. And that's because you're taking the time to do something local, something small. And it doesn't have to cost. You would be surprised how often these events don't actually have a cost associated to them. The other day, I was talking to a guy who manages a location, and he's like, I can't let you guys do anything inside of our building. Like, there's red tape for this. I'm sure we can possibly do it, but it's not. But he's like, you know what? If you do it outside on the sidewalk, I know that you want to come and do this. I'm cool with it. So if the property management calls, like, hey, did you know? I'll say yeah. And, no, no sweat off my back. You get to do what you want, man, cool. Something simple as that. No cost. You're setting up a table, introducing people to what you're offering, and they're cool with it. Why? You made a couple of calls, you introduced yourself, you just happened to ask, and you would be surprised how often people want to help others. Okay? But that's what I'm talking about. Find those, look for them. They don't have to actually be a money pit, but you have to understand what kind of events you should be doing or looking for. Look for something small in the community that you can get involved with, because a lot of times, you guys, you're not trying to do something in the community, you're trying to do something out and about. And to really make brick and mortar locations really valuable, they have to be valuable to the community that they serve. Because it doesn't fucking matter if you're trying to promote to somebody who's half a state away when it's not your location. Okay? So that's super, super important to truly understand. There's other things, obviously, that can be done that can create hyper local things and hyper local focus. But this is one of those things that you could do that doesn't require a lot of attention or a lot of energy to be expensed, right? To be able to do this. And it's something simple, okay? And you gotta stop overthinking it. It doesn't have to be something that, oh man, I gotta spend a week. No, just, you know what? This is the thing. Let me just pick up the phone and do it. Boom, boom, boom. Right? Knock out 5, 10 calls. Once one picks up, that's you're going to want to continue to do it. You're going to want to continue to push that. And your team's going to see it as well. Like, hey, and guys, at these events, understand, you're probably not going to sell a lot. If you sell something, great. Oftentimes, you're not going to sell much, if anything, at these events. They're really to get foot traffic in, to let people know, hey, this is what we got going on. So you want to make sure you're doing it close to when you're actually doing something at the stores, at your locations where you're going to be doing some kind of event, because then you can follow it up with like, hey, great. If you come into our location, this is what we could do. We're going to be having this great, blah, 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 right? And you would be surprised. And you can get after it. And very simple, right? So we talked about doing callbacks. We talked about essentially door knocking, and then also building relationships and going out into the community and being kind of making some kind of valuable networking connections, introducing yourself and making small events, right? Callbacks, door knocking, and events. Those are simple things that you could do that doesn't require you to expense a lot of time and energy and capital. Okay? Especially if you're an owner operator, you know what I'm talking about. But those are the little things that can be doing. That's why it's important to focus on training, coaching, and mentoring. Because then you can focus on more of that to bring in the traffic that you're going to need. That's the best thing in this world. So get after it, guys. Stop hesitating. Don't let the end of fourth quarter bring you down, especially if you're starting off to a slow start, if you think so. Get after it and get pushing, and you'd be surprised at how fast you're going to be able to take off with this. If you have any questions, if you're needing a little bit more support, you guys already know. Look at the description in the video, grab those resources, and start using them. Guys, I want to say thanks again for stepping into another episode here at the Sales Manager Academy podcast. As always, I'm your host, Omar, and I'll catch you on the next one.